Whoop. What? Um, so everything seems to be streaming now. Hello! Sorry, just slightly distracted. I'm seeing what is going on with Facebook because I probably just spanned my wall with absolutely nothing. Okay. It doesn't look like my streams are being posting messages to Facebook. Whatever. Anyway, to our online now. Hello and welcome to and back to and to the beginning of this thing. So, I usually use this programming thing called Live EDU for streaming programs, but that in the last day has decided it doesn't want to be anymore. Um, the people who own this site are suddenly really pushing for profit. Oh my god. And it's basically become near impossible to stream. In fact, I can't even stream on it right now, even through this thing or any other thing, and nobody can view my stream on this site. So I was forced to branch out and find other things. So I was finding this guy over here, Mr. Kilroy, and he was streaming on the site. I was like, how are you streaming on the site? But it looks like he's not actually streaming on this site. What he's actually doing is streaming across multiple different platforms. And I was like, well, how are you doing this? What magical trickery is this? Anyway, he sent me to the site a link to this thing called real re what restream.io. So what this thing does is it lets you stream to multiple things at the same time, and that's what I did. So now I'm streaming to YouTube, streaming to Twitch, streaming to Live Education, and you can also stream to Facebook and many other things. And you can do all that for free, absolutely free. Although if you pay, you can stream to the same things multiple times, so multiple Twitch channels or something, and also Facebook Live, because Facebook Live is something or other and you gotta pay for that, so yeah. It's a pretty awesome site if I do so say myself. Which I do. Oh, what's going on? Press back on too many times. Anyway, yeah, it seems to be having some problems with live EDU. So, it also says how many views you get on each one, that's pretty cool. But I have some messing around I need to do, so that will probably be what next stream is, would be building a multi-stream chat system, like what the other guy has. Loud noises. Which is what this thing over here is. So, it's really awesome. You can see when people join, when they leave, and all of the messages across all the different platforms. This is, I guess, is his website. I'll probably build something like this as well. And yeah, so he's got chats across multiple different things as well, which is all on his website. So yeah, I guess if I can access this stuff to put it in, I can do the rest of it. But the problem is the live coding one's API isn't there, so I'm gonna have to do some magic trickery with that. But he gave me a link to what he built his one from, and that seems to still work. So maybe I can just use his code as long as I hopefully don't need to do anything new. Yeah, and stuff. So I should probably put a link to my Twitch thing. Um, I have no clue if I spelt the wrong die. I think I spelled that right. I can't see this corner of my screen. For any new people who might be watching this for the first video because multi-platform support. Anyway, so I'm just going to pretend like this is the first episode, seeing as I probably lost all my other episodes because they were never streamed in here, but I do have them on my computer and I can upload them to the other two sites which I am now streaming upon. So if anybody wishes, I could do that, although the beginning of this stream isn't the beginning of all of the streams because I built an entire game engine. Anyway, I should probably explain that. So this is making a 3D Marble Labyrinth game in my own game engine, so using JavaScript. Probably should add that in there somewhere, I don't know. So, Marble Labyrinth. If you Google that, you see this really awesome game. This is, as far as I know, what it's called is Marble Labyrinth, because that's what comes up with all the images, so it must be. Anyway, basically it's a wooden board game thing? I don't know. Where you would have a marble on a board, and this board can be tilted, so it's got these little knob things there and here, so you can tilt the board in two different axes and roll the ball around. So you got to roll the ball without falling through the holes and get it to wherever the end hole would be. Is the idea. I guess someone's got two different challenges. Anyway, like this one. So you got to start, you put the ball there, and you got to roll it all the way around to the end. Most of them have lines showing you the path for whatever reasons. I guess it was too hard for people or something. If they didn't know where to take the ball. I don't get what the numbered holes are either. They seem to have things that are the same number, so it's something to do with the distance. It's like how far through you've gotten. I don't really know. There's probably some magical other game you can play with this. Anyway, so I am building this thing in my own game. That's not a thing at all. Whatever. In my own game engine. And that looks like... nope. Nope. Well, actually, yeah. That looks like this. So here's like a 3D example of my game engine, which you would have to check out multiple other streams for how I made this. Although I will probably be going over every single detail throughout this thing over and over again anyway. But yeah, I built this. It's my own game engine. Wow, that's laggy. It seems like streaming across multiple platforms really kills your performance. Can I not be loading these things? I feel like they're all loading. I guess I just refresh the page. No. Yes. No. I think that one worked. Refresh. No. No. Maybe a little longer. No. There we are. And that one's going to crash. It never likes me doing that. And YouTube, yeah, YouTube one's showing in the background the whole time. I don't actually know where to go to see my YouTube streams. It's a big mystery to me. Like, I only got here because a link links me to here. But I don't know where to go from there. All I know is it's being streamed, it's got a little description thing, but any more than that I don't know. I mean, I guess it's this thing. Where does that take me? It does. So I tried finding this in my previous videos, but it didn't show up, so I don't know where this is being saved to. Maybe I'm not saving it. I guess that would have had a thing saying something about that here. There was something or other about it being saved. Make it unlisted when complete. Well, it's not that. Maybe I wasn't streaming for long enough before. Maybe it's an advanced setting. I don't know. I only just set all this stuff up, so... Oh, well, this just looks like all the same settings, just on a single page. That's just all the settings on a single page. Whatever. What? Ooh, more options. Okay. What were the cards again? Learn more about cards. Oh, okay. So a card is just an external link. I think I've seen that stuff before. Stream status bad. Okay, I was telling me about this before. Last time it told me how to fix it. But fixing it made it use a massively large amount more internet. Too much for me to be able to do. But it looks like I can play this thing and I see it just fine. Insert ads? Wait, what? Oh, that was me stopping to listen for it. Yeah, so that doesn't seem to be buffering or anything. Live chat's already opened up a new window. I probably should have those as the things on top of everything. I'm not even looking at that stuff. Oh my god, I got a lot of notifications on Facebook all of a sudden. that it didn't tell me about. Whatever. Where did that go? Minimize. Pop, pop, pop. So yeah, as I said, I'm going to be making a thing at some point where I combine all my chats together and advertising around the place. But for now, probably nobody will even know I'm streaming, ever. But whatever. Don't worry about that. Anyway, so that's that. Back to showing things. Might be a bit better. I can't tell. No. This is still terrible. Other browser. Where you at, other browser? Nope, nope. That one? Yes. Okay. This one should go a whole lot better. Really needs to do a lot of things. No, this one's still pretty laggy too. Anyway, well, this is my game engine. Oh, no, there we go. Suddenly a boost in performance there. So, as you can see, you can walk around the place. That wasn't right. Why is my viewing plane tilted down? Refresh. Okay. That's better. So, as you can see, it's all in 3D. I've got, like, stuff everywhere. Which I can't actually enable it. What? Pressing that button seems to have crashed it. Okay, it seems to have crashed everything. What the world did that button do? Shouldn't do anything. Don't have an X? I don't even have an X. Should have done anything. Unless there was something else coded somewhere else which did something which I've forgotten about. No, if that was the case, it would have broken long ago, and I don't think I would have fixed it like that. Let me just turn my fan on. There. On. There we go. Possibly. But anyway. So you might notice this terrible tearing of the textures. That is just because of how the game engine works. I can't do per pixel calculations for how to distort things, so it can only skew textures, which is why that happens. It happens in like original PlayStation games. My goal of this is to have a PlayStation 1 quality game engine, so well on my way to that. And there's many tricks I can use to straighten the stuff out, because it's supposed to just be a straight vertical line, which you can see if I look at everything directly face on. So that's sort of how the texture's supposed to be, but then it gets all wobbly and distorted. Anyway. And there's a whole heap of other stuff that goes on, but I've exaggerated the distortion of these textures, because I was messing around trying to fix things. Anyway, I have a room over here, which is a big dome sort of a thing, with a bit of a domed up roof. It's a cylinder with a domed-ish roof. Just to show that everything didn't have to be all squares and stuff, because pretty much the rest of the levels are squares. I've got transparency working, which, you know, it's not even a thing, it's just transparent thing there, done. This room's got a little uppy thing to show that it doesn't all have to be the same height. I can actually go up and down levels, but I need collisions and stuff for that to work. Which I don't have working, so you can just walk straight through stuff. A nice outsidey sort of area. Got a nice skybox thing, except it's broken because of UVs. Just terrible UVs. It's nothing to do with the game engine, it's all my part. You might be wondering about the disappearing wall. That's because it's in a different voxel. I call this a voxel ray engine. It works with voxels and ray tracing, and this has not been optimized for that. So the entire wall just disappears. It should be little chunks of it you can only see directly around you by a certain distance, but that distance is quite large. Well, the chunks are quite large, the distance is not. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much that. Also got do mode, makes everything super low quality and just kills the performance even more. Pretty awesome. Every game should have a Doom mode. So what this thing is it's literally rendering the entire game up here, grabbing that, taking a screenshot of it basically, and then putting the screenshot up here. And that's how that works. I can toggle it on and off, although the picture doesn't disappear. I just have it there for debugging purposes. Anyway, and now it's going really slow again. So, this, as you can see by the faces, it's going terrible, and it's only got a couple hundred faces. So, a modern game engine would have many billion times more amount than this. Like, you'll have a single objected game that has over 100,000 vertices now, or 100,000 faces, where my one only has 360, and that's lag-worthy. So, yeah, I really need to optimize this. So I started optimizing this in the... Let's actually move the other one to that one. Let's grab all these chats again. I'm not even looking at them. I can't tell when people join now. People are actually joining my other stream. Can people see it? Can people see my stream? Although I think most of these people are bots, so... what does this say? It still says connecting to that. So, site's gone all buggy. I wonder how the other guy got it working. Maybe it was because he had been using this thing earlier and it kept, like, settings or something. Where my one's all been rebuffered, rehashed, or whatever they say. Anyway, so this is what I got so far for the game. The, Marble Maze game, or whatever it's called. I got a ball, it rolled around the place, I lowered the FPS to 10 just because I could. Let me just change that back. I've already changed that back. Refresh. There we go. So I got a ball, you can roll it around the place. No clue what frame rate's like. I think it should be a lot better than it was a moment ago. Normally when I stream. I've over doubled the quality, I think. But anyway, got a ball, rolls around the place. So I got rolling things happening, I got a basic maze being generated, although not randomly yet. Just for testing purposes. Still don't have collisions working, and it runs very badly, but I did have it getting to 12 FPS with over 1,000 faces. Now it's not so much anymore, because I'm streaming and all that. Upping the quality of the stream did not help. So now I've lost a whole heap of frames. But my plan is to get this to at least 50 frames, and then it should work on mobile, with actual geometry that is more than this. The actual game will be about the same sort of quality of this. The walls hopefully won't have more mesh. I hope guys in chat. Hopefully this guy can get this thing working. Hopefully he doesn't want me to turn it on and off again. In fact, can I turn it on and off with this thing? I think I just toggle it with that. That'd be cool. Okay. Huh. Let's see if I could just refresh this thing. Where am I going with this thing? Did that turn that off? Because it'd sort of suck if I had to refresh the whole thing, because that means refreshing all of my streamy things. I assume this would be enough. Ba-doop. Aww. Well, looks like I gotta restart the streaming thing. Wow, this is going great. Hopefully, how long have I even been streaming for? Cool. Streaming thing went where? Let's just hope 23 minutes is enough length on a stream for things to be saved around the place. Yeah, no skip button. So is this working yet? See if I get an unskippable ad. This guy doesn't believe me. Can I paste an image here? Can I paste an image here? Nope. What's an image uploading site again? I never remember how to, like, how to even say it, let alone how to spell it. Image uploading site. Tiny dick. Aw, I gotta save it. So is it working now? press anything? Yes. Ugh. Yep. Aw. Trying's a weird word. Whatever. I don't know, I can only say that. Changing the settings. I gotta delete a whole lot of videos explaining everything all over again. I don't even know how many times I've tried to explain things. I've explained things over and over again. Where's bitrate go? Bitrate. Ah, changing stream quality. What was that image site? Oh, safe. I closed that window, didn't I? I'm not gonna be too tired by the time all this is done. I'm already tired. I was thinking, oh yeah, I'll just go on and start streaming, and I'll just stream it for like half an hour or something, and then I'll go to bed. But nope. Instead, I'm streaming a whole lot of videos, which I'm gonna end up deleting. I wonder if anybody has ever viewed any of my profiles. Why did I just get a pop but no message? Someone messaged me somewhere else? Yep. Yes. At least I'm rolling in the viewers now. That night time when all of the Americans are waking up. I can only assume to resume. Presume to assume. Assume to presume, or presume to assume. I feel like it's presume to assume. I am actually streaming right now, right? Aren't I? I don't know, I guess I can go back. No, I'm going to be deleting all my streams. No point explaining everything all over again if I'm just going to delete it. And the health guy left. Oh, he's back again. Did everybody just leave? I feel like he might have just restarted something. No, I'm just going to code while I wait for the next bloop. Bloop. Oh, there's the next bloop. Is that hands? Images. One lot of settings. Which one's which? That one. Ooh, lots of settings. Let's not worry about that thing. So, why think I'm just going to start now? YouTube's still not connected, but whatever. Hello, and possibly welcome to this thing. So, I am just trying to rename my chat thing so I can see the Twitch chat. I've sort of refreshed and broken this page so it doesn't load my stream because it uses a whole lot of internet when streaming multiple streaming things. I will just be one moment while I rename this. How do I rename that? Rename? Why do you not have a name? Whatever, let's just make a new one. Add. Window. No. Window? Can't read these things. Just. Whatever. It's like a random video tab just crashes. Ah. Add. It is window caption. Okay. What is this? Twitch chat. Okay. Twitch. What one is the Twitch chat? So I'm in it. Oh, I can't move this window now. I have the live EDU chat. I have the YouTube chat. Twitch chat. Twitch. Whatever. Let's just select one. See what happens. I want to select a sub-region. Hey, that's the correct one. Get over here. Hey, hey, there you are. Select sub-region. Don't want that. And don't want that. Never used this before, so who knows how it's going to pop up. If anybody was to chat to me, it'd be really awesome if somebody's watching, if they could type some messages in there. My eye is really itchy. There's some dust in it or something. Okay. Does that work? I think that worked. That chat can go away. And this chat can go where the other chat was. So come back so I can line you up. Oh, cool, it snaps. Okay. There we go. So yes, let me do this again for like the third time today. So, hello, welcome back, or welcome to, or hello, first time viewers, or whatever junk. I normally Twitch on this site called Live Coding EDU, but I am not there anymore because it's broken for mysterious reasons, and I don't know what's going on. So I'm gonna stop streaming there until things work again. So now I am streaming on Twitch, but not only that, I am streaming on YouTube. So, multi-streams. I do multiple streams by using this program here, which some guy showed me called Killjoy over there. Guy was creating a game engine or something as well. It's pretty cool. Except he's cheating by using other people's code, where my one's all my own code, pretty much. Anyway, why do I feel like really dusty all of a sudden? What have you been doing, kitty cat? Maybe the wind's changed direction or something. Oh, I know what it is. The guy next, place next door's being renovated. The other place seems like it's just finished renovating, and now there's a whole lot of people over there. At least there were some people over there today, so I don't know. Wait, where's the jets? What time does that happen? You know what? That's probably why it's so very quiet right now. Is it? It's Anzac Day today. I think there are supposed to be some very loud jets flying over at some point. Anzac Day, Brisbane. What events are happening? Notice there's fireworks displays and all sorts of stuff. What's open, what's closed, and what's on. Well, this isn't helping. What's the fireworks display? Randomly distracted at the very beginning of my stream. Ish. Sort of. If this counts as the beginning. Otherwise, it's going to be a very big surprise when that happens, because they're quite loud, and there's multiple of them. 25th today. Oh. It's not on today? Okay, it's the 27th. Either I have the wrong day, or it already thinks it's tomorrow or something. I don't know. Jets flew over this morning and woke me up. Anyway, if anybody, I think Anzac Day is Australian Day. It's like the day that people went to war and died and stuff, so you have like a minute of silence for the fallen and delicious biscuits or cookies or whatever. Anzac biscuits. Anzac cookies. I don't know. Delicious things. I think it's just an Australian thing though. Anywho, so back to this. I'm going to explain everything from the beginning, although I probably should have done that at the beginning of the stream instead of rambling on about other stuff first. But anyway, I am making a 3D Marble Labyrinth game. And what that means, 3D Marble Labyrinth, in my own game engine. What that is why I've already got that highlighted, although I can't copy it. Marble Labyrinth. A Marble Labyrinth is something which I need to open up in a different browser, because I'm going to be using the same tab for other things. There we are. Marble Labyrinth. So as far as I can tell, this is the name of the game, although a few other names come up with similar things. I'm not sure which one's which. But this one seems to come up with the most amount of correct images. So Marble Labyrinth is this game. It's a wooden puzzle game sort of thing. That one's a good one. No, that one's a good one. That one's a crazy one. This one's a good one. So what it is you have a piece of wood and a marble or something, usually a metal ball bearing, and you roll it around. The way you roll it is by tilting these little knob things, which tilt the entire board one way or another, depending on the knob. And you just roll the ball around the place without touching it, and avoiding all the holes and pitfalls or whatever, and you got to get it to the end. I'm not sure what the numbers mean. I don't know why they have to highlight the path. That just seems like, what's the point? Yeah, I don't know. It just makes it easier, I guess. Not as if it makes it any easier to play. You just don't have to worry about where the path is. Anyway, so my plan is to make a game like this in my own game engine, which will hopefully work on mobile phones and junk at some point. So to that end, I made this. Well, actually, this is what I made before I came up with the idea of making this. This is my 3D game engine so far, as it currently is. Oh wow, much less lag now, I think. Maybe not. So, yeah, this is it. Everything's where it should be. Yeah. Textures look extremely distorted. That's because textures are extremely distorted. That happens because of how textures get textured in extremely efficient engines, I guess you could say. I can't do per pixel stuff in JavaScript because it's too slow. It wouldn't be able to do it unless the entire size of the game screen is 100 by 100 pixels, in which case I could do it then. have it all nice and accurate, but you know, when you lower the pixel count, you can't really notice the textures anyway to that sort of a scale. So, it's pretty pointless. Yeah, anyway, you can move around the place. And sometimes there's missing faces if you move directly forward without looking around the place. I don't know. There, you'll see some pieces disappearing like that. That's just because of a whole chunk loading system, if you could call it that. I call this a voxel ray engine, which you can see previous streams on if you can see stuff on the live edu site, or if I've uploaded stuff elsewhere. If anybody really wants to watch those things, they can always upload them, but as far as the live edu site goes, you have to be a premium member now to view old streams, which is extremely pointless. Anyway, so yeah, I can move around the place. That stuff happens. What was I doing? Oh yeah, voxel ray is what I call the type of engine which I am creating. Although the voxel ray part doesn't actually fully work yet. That's the whole idea behind it. It works enough to be able to look around the place and that, because your entire look system depends on it. Anyway, so basically the disappearing things like that is because that is on a different voxel, and same with this side here. Like, this corner right here is the border between all the different voxels, even the ground. So if I look too far up, the ground disappears. Because it thinks the ground is out of view. And it sort of is, but anyway. I won't get into how all that works again. So yeah, you move around the place, got this room. You think it's all made out of blocks, but then suddenly this room's a cylinder, so it doesn't have to actually be made out of cubes or anything like that. And the roof is actually domed up slightly as well. And I got a window with higher, more dense geometry, just because I could. Yep, you can see outside the window and stuff, got sky and stuff. You can also walk through the window because there's no collisions. And the ground here is this massive square somewhat, so that's why all the faces are really distorted here. Yeah. And then I got this room to the side, so the room's got a raised up bit to show that there is raised up bits. You can do that. It doesn't have a height limit or something like that. So yeah, that's all that. I built this entire engine entirely myself by hand in JavaScript, apart from a few lines, but don't worry about those. Oh, I did get a message on this. Now you can get a bloop. Can I get notification sounds with this? Wait, what? You've been here for half an hour? Wow. Okay, let's just turn that to a 0. You just talk whenever. Dark mode. Oh, timestamps. Those would be nice. Edit appearance. I feel like that's going to pop up a whole lot of stuff. I don't know. But hey, we don't have notification sounds, so I'm just going to have to keep that in view and try not to forget about it. And the YouTube one, where's that? 3 different chat things. So yeah, that's that. There's my engine so far. No collisions or anything like that yet, which is sort of the next thing I've got to do. I've also got a do mode. Boop. Do mode renders the whole thing in less quality and also seems to crash my browser. I wonder if that was a bug? Or other things are happening. I don't know. Basically the way that works is it renders the screen up here instead of this massive area, and that's 300 by 300 pixels. It grabs it, basically takes a screenshot of it, which is in a PNG format. Very annoying, because it takes a while to do that, which actually lowers the performance even though I'm rendering much, much less. Anyway, grabs that, scales it up, puts it down. And that's how I get that to work. Anyway, so that's that. This is this game as I've got it so far. Yeah, I don't get any notifications at all here. Nope, not built with WebGL. It's all my own code. No WebGL, no GPU rendering, all on the CPU. Which is one of the things which I hopefully will go through today, but I'm tired, but now getting more awake. Which is what I planned to do today until Live EDU decided to not work. So I've spent all day trying to get that working. It failed. Anyway, this is what I got so far for the Marble Run whatever game. Marble Labyrinth. Still no collisions or anything. But I got a ball, it rolls around the place. And it rolls pretty accurately as far as I can tell. I'm not sure if it rolls at the correct speed though. I didn't go into all the math with that, I just best guessed it. Couldn't be bothered. I just need to find out the bounding box, and with the bounding box I can get the diameter, and the diameter I can get the circumference, and then the circumference I can get how much it rolls when it moves. But I couldn't be bothered going through all that stuff. Especially since I gotta make a bounding box thing. It only needs to happen once though. But anyway, so this is what I made, and it runs at around about 11 to 12 FPS with over 1,000 faces, but that drops down a bit while I'm streaming, so yeah. I need to raise that up to at least 50 FPS, which the game will actually be running in 24 by default, because, you know, the entire thing's built with hand, it's horrible performance, and it's not going to be that good. But my goal for this game engine is PlayStation 1 quality, which would mean, yeah. It's also compatible with, yeah, it's compatible with OpenGL, but I haven't used it, and I don't really plan to. Because I find that cheating, then I'll be using other people's code, because as far as I've seen with OpenGL, is it does everything for you. You literally say, there's an object here, render it. And then it renders it. It does the textures, it puts everything in 3D space, and everything. I don't want that. I want to create that. It's my engine. Because it's pretty much not your engine then. I mean, what have you really coded? I mean, if you're using OpenGL, then, you know, why don't you just add your own physics system into it as well? And then there you go, you've got a game engine with just like 2 lines of code. And it just does everything for you. Then you just need to look at APIs and things, and then you're only a GUI away from just using a game engine, so that's pointless, I find. The whole point of it is to code it all myself. Anyway, so what was I saying before then? Yeah. I plan to have it on the quality of a PlayStation 1, that's what I was saying. PlayStation 1 quality, as far as I can tell, I am about a tenth of the speed of a PlayStation 1, as it is currently. Which I do actually have a plan to improve the performance from 4 to like 16 times faster or something crazy like that. Which is what I plan to do today, but I think I'm probably just going to be scanning through my code and trying to optimize little things around the place. While trying to get the live EDU thing working, I've already improved the performance by like 3 FPS. And I don't think I'll particularly be going over how I did that, because I don't even know if my previous videos of this exists for where I create and explain how the whole thing works, so unless I want to do all that again, like I am right now with how the whole project's going, I don't think I'm really going to worry about it. So, yeah. Who knows, I'll probably be explaining it all. How did I just do that? I don't know. But yeah, this is all built within my 3D game engine still. It's just always from a locked 2D, locked top-down camera, which is really weird because it makes these things look like cubes. I'm not sure about anyone else, but these look like cubes to me, which they're not. But the height is actually half the width, but it really does look like it's a cube. Just like the perspective. I don't know why. It's crazy. But it looks fine. I guess maybe it's an illusion because the ball or something. I don't know. I gotta get collisions and stuff working as well, and I think I plan to actually do proper 3D collisions rather than fake 2D ones, but I could just do a really quick, simple 2D collision thing. Because all it does when you tilt is it would just be tilting the camera around the place, and that's real easy to do. Other than that, you can just pretend like the whole thing's 2D, and collisions are simple that way. But yeah, I mean, what's the point if I'm not going full 3D? So, code. If anybody's wondering how I plan to do that massive performance upgrade, is I found out how to use the entire usage of your CPU, basically. So to unlock the access to it. At least I assume that's how it's going. I haven't looked into it too much because I wanted to do it on the stream, and then today happened, so... but the idea is... Right now, it is not using the entire of even a single core of your CPU. It's like a certain amount given to it by the browser after all the other tabs have gone through it all. So I'm not even using a third of a single CPU with the current performance, and I have a lot of CPUs, so... Many a CPU. So if I'm not even using a third of one, and I have 12 cores, not even a third of one core, and I have 12 cores, I can improve the performance of this thing some amount. Although I only worked that out to be a little bit more than a PlayStation 1's performance, which is hilarious considering how extremely powerful this computer is, even by a third of a single CPU compared to a PlayStation 1. But anyway, I can optimize a few other things before I'm gonna look into that, if I am going to be doing that today. I don't know. As far as I can tell on a phone, if I have it running at least 50 FPS in its current state with how many faces are being rendered and stuff, it should work at 24 frames per second on a phone that's a dual core. I'm not sure how much CPU power it has, but I assume it's probably a third less than what my one has. I worked it out yesterday to be about right, so it should run, as long as you're not running lots of other things in the background and stuff like that, with stable frame rate, as the game currently is. Who knows once I add collisions and many other junk, but anyway, that's the goal. If nothing else, will work on the CPU. I mean, work on the PC. So let's get looking at code that I can optimize. This is the thing I optimized to get a few more performance. I sort of recoded that. Debugging. That's what I want to do. I have to recode my debugger, and I can't tell how many people are in chat here, can I? Can I? What have I done? Oh, viewer list. Nobody's in here. Well, that's disappointing. Are people on my Twitch? How do I tell if people are here? And have the page not being crashed, that would be a good idea. I have one view. That's probably just me, isn't it? It's not much delay at all now with Twitch. Used to be terrible, that's why I used live EDU. Does this thing stop when I press the stop button, or is it still sort of buffering ahead? Oh, I can change quality to whatever the source is. Huh. Clip? What does clip mean? I may never know. Anyway, now I feel very unmotivated seeing that I have no viewers. Apart from the one guy on live EDU that's been on my profile for the last couple of days now. So, oh wow, I just got killed my mood. Chocolate. I was feeling all good then, thinking that somebody was watching. Nom nom nom. I don't know, should I look around for more code? Or should I optimize my debugger? I'll pick my debugger. Remake the debugger. Yeah. I like suddenly realized today that yesterday, that my debugger is actually really, really bad. Which I already knew, that's why I disabled it. But I went around building this thing the completely wrong way. Although it was right at the time because I didn't have the same setup as I do now. But yeah. No, let's look through this stuff. So I think I pretty much optimized this thing as far as I can. I got the camera, depending on the res, makes it run with the Doom mode, which means it's got to render on a different canvas, and then it's got to save it, pick it up, put it back down again. So that's sort of the toggle for whether or not it's doing that. So I need it to change what CTX it's on, and also this camera res thing to force scale everything depending on the camera resolution. Otherwise it will go from the size of the current viewport, like the window on the screen or whatever. Because I got this massive viewport system, I'm going to be explaining everything in way too much detail, but whatever. Where did it go? Where'd you go? So, by viewport, I mean this grey background here that this thing's being rendered in. It's like this whole grey background area. That is one viewport. There is supposed to be a mini-map over here, but it looks like I disabled that because this doesn't have a mini-map. At least not yet. But that's another viewport there. It's also got this one up here. You can move around the place like that. That's another viewport, which I plan to put the donate and information and all that sort of stuff in here, so the entire thing is run within a canvas, where this is HTML. This thing and the donate button. And my debugger thing is also on its own window, which overlays everything else and has a transparent background. And it's also click through, unless I click on something which is clickable. So I could see toggle stuff in my performance thing, which doesn't work at the moment. It's supposed to have a whole lot more options, but they're all disabled. I saved like 10 FPS or something doing that. So yeah, that's what a viewport is. That tells it to use an override viewport, which is this one for location and size, which is when you saw me on do mode, how it had that little image up there. That's what that was. It was rendering on the canvas, on a different canvas in a different location. Anyway, I get that. I get the relative position of the face, so I can find out where the vertices are. The UV coordinates for each one of the vertices, I separate those things out to make the texturing only do what it needs to do. So you don't have to input an object which is of a certain format and has everything, so naming conventions and all that. It doesn't care. All it cares about is what material, what texture you want to put on it, where the borders of that texture is, and what UVs that has. So yeah. So the location of the face in 2D coordinates on the screen. So yeah. So the first thing I do is I get the length of this thing. So I keep being told, or I keep seeing everywhere, that apparently length is better to get like this, to assign it as a variable than rather than have this thing there, because each time it has to calculate the length, is I assume what the whole thing behind that is, but that doesn't seem right to me. I mean, why would they do it like that? I'd think it would be more of an event thing where if a variable is added, then it changes the length, updates it, just places it as a variable, rather than, then again, maybe it does just call it each time, but then this isn't a function, this is just a variable. But who knows, maybe there's some magic trickery behind it. So as far as I know, this should actually be longer than just putting that directly in here, because this has to create a brand new variable, which is just assigned to something that was already a variable anyway. Anyway, so I did that stuff just in case it optimized it. I don't notice any difference, but who knows. And then that's the face, that's the vertice location of the current face. This just goes through all the faces. Well, this just has a face and a viewport, and from that it can figure out everything else. So I get that, I translate that from 3D space to 2D space on the screen, XY coordinates, or pixels, and then I assign that to a place, and also get the UV coordinates of that vert that was just passed through, so everything's all equal. Then once that's all looped through, I got all of the locations and UV information, then I check to see if it wants wired or shaded mode. If it does, then I need to make an outline of that location, which is also automatically done in texture map, but in a weird way, which keeps it when it does the wireframe stuff afterwards, but whatever. So this does actually run twice if it's textured, which this removes. So if it's just textured, it only runs once, rather than running twice every time. I also had this inbuilt into there every time, but so yeah, that happens. And but if it is in wireframe or shaded mode and textured mode, then it's going to run twice again, but it's more optimal. You really wouldn't have wireframe or shaded unless you were debugging stuff or didn't want textures. In which case, you wouldn't have textures and shaded at the same time anyway, because it can only have one or the other. I mean, it can have both, but one would be overriding the other one. Anyway, so if it's not textured, if it is textured and it has a texture, then it does a texture mode. If it doesn't have textured or whatever, then it checks to see if it wants shaded, which happens if it doesn't have a texture or it's shaded. So untextured things, or things that are supposed to be textured that aren't, just default to a shaded mode. I could have them default to a texture of a certain sort, but anyway, so yeah, that does texture stuff, although shaded stuff sometimes have an outline around it, like it doesn't count this area. So I did this thing which is supposed to fix it. And it did, somewhat. But I'm not using it, and I haven't needed to test it, so I don't even know if it's working. I mean, it probably is working, but I don't know if it's even still needed, because it's a long time ago that I used that thing. Long time ago, like a year ago. Was the last time that was used, as far as I know. Anyway, so that does the solid shading thing, and then this thing does the wireframe. So that's like 3 FPS faster from what I changed it from. So now let's go through everything else. 3D face comes from Render 3D, which also runs camera clipping, and face triangulate happens a lot too. In fact, that happens probably more-ish. I don't know, let's see if I can optimize this. So, I have faces, which will be output. I looped through that. I don't know if I should change everything to a VARD thing. I mean, I really don't think it makes, like, any noticeable difference at all. If the other one didn't even improve it by a single frame, then it's barely unregisterable. Unless it was only just less than a frame? Nah. Because it wouldn't be perfect. I don't know. I would imagine it's at least half a frame at most. It would be the most amount of optimization that would give me. Probably like a third. At absolute most. But I don't think it actually does anything at all. In fact, I think it's faster if I don't do that. So let's not worry about that. So I looped through all of the verts. I looped if the vert minus v is greater than 2, so if it's still got at least... Wait. If it's still got at least 2 verts in front of the one that it's checking, then it will continue going. If it doesn't, then it's completed at all, because of the way this works. So then I have a new face. New face, iron face... so that's making a shallow deep copy, or a deep shallow copy, I don't know, of all of the properties that come from the face, such as its material and UV, well, actually not UV clause. Material, the object it belongs to, and a whole heap of other stuff. I can't do a direct deep copy because it would just be an infinite loop, so I'm only going to get a deep copy of one level deep. A shallow deep copy. So yeah, that copies all of those, that copies all of that information. And yeah, then it replaces the verts it had with these new ones. So if this is its first time through, then it doesn't have any previous faces. This is the very first face. So new face is equal to a vert, whatever vert. Yep. So it makes a triangle. And then if it's not the first time around, it uses the previous one's face, which is whatever that would have been, to calculate a new face with just one different vert. So a new triangle from the old triangle, because it shares 2 verts when you join 2 triangles together. Or you triangulate something. There's always going to be 2 verts that are the same from the previous. At least one edge would be connected, basically. So that would be that. That pushes this. And it moves on. So a way that I could optimize this would be somehow not having this single if condition. That seems to be the only way that I can think of. Also that could be removed. I could just say -2. Wait, what? Yeah, so if the length minus v is greater than 2, there's 2 left over. For 2 to be left over, yeah, I think I can just do that, and then I don't have this if anymore. In which case, this probably would be more efficient to have as a variable, because then it wouldn't have to do the math every time. Len. What's that? Okay, so that should have removed an if and sped it up some amount. So now this if is a tricky one to remove, because v, I do not know of, I know of one way. The way I can optimize that part would be to run this prior then to run that, which means adding an extra condition to know if the face has enough verts, because if it doesn't, this is going to come up with an index out of range. So if length is greater than 2, this is better because that if's outside, although this only should be running 3 times anyway. Well, actually no, this could be running more times. Still more efficient. So if that's greater than 2, all this can go. It'll return undefined otherwise, because nothing would have happened if that didn't run, and why was there a rogue space? How many of them are going to run, please? Well, so as long as it's got greater than 2, so as long as it's got at least 3 vertices, it can create a face from the thing. Or at least 4, I guess. If it's 3, it's already triangulated, in which case just return face, so I need a second condition? Because I could be trying to triangulate a face that's already a triangle. So else, if any more chat things? Nope. I guess I could just say, yeah, let's just go with that. Else, if that is equal to 3, so if that is greater than 3, then it can go because it's able to triangulate. If it's equal to 3, then just return face. And anything else, anything less than 3 would mean that it wasn't enough to create a face, so return undefined. Okay, so that does that. This finds the first place. Because the first place is already found, I can remove this. So that condition doesn't need to run multiple times now. This can be offset by 1 because it's as if the first loop is already gone. And then, yeah, it does the duplicating face thing. Duplicating face thing, that could possibly be done some other way? No. I mean, any way you look at it, you've got to be doing a copy like this, because you can't directly copy it, you can't do a deep copy. The deep copy would be longer anyway, so I believe that is the most efficient and best way of doing that. Pretty much. With worrying about future things. I could do it faster by just knowing which parts need to be deep copied and replacing them later, but whatever. I could be adding more stuff in later on, which this means I don't have to worry about what I have later on. It'll just deep copy everything, as long as vert is still vert, which actually should be verts, possibly. I don't know. I don't know what I should name this stuff now. I suddenly had this whole, like, what do they call that? A something or other shift. Per some shift. I don't know. Where I don't know how to say things anymore. It's like, is it vert or verts? So I have a face, then I have a vert, then I have this vert. Or I have face, and then I have verts of the face, and then I have this vert. So vert, verts, so face, vert, that vert, face, verts, and then this vert. Verts would seems more relative, where vert is just like vert. Could have one, it could have multiple. Verts mean I always have multiple. But then depending on how you say it, vert could also mean multiple. It means this vert, where it could be out of a list of them, or it could just be a single one. I don't know. Now I think vert on its own should be better, but then everything else is named wrong, like faces should be face. Although not, because faces and then that face. But I need 2 different names, whatever. So, yeah, I think that should have optimized it ever so slightly. Let's see if I broke everything. I broke everything. Length of undefined. Okay. 364. 3. I'm guessing that's something that ran after this. Which I can't even see what ran that. Huh. I didn't put a syntax error somewhere? Length of undefined. What did I do? Let's just undo this to see if I broke it here. Yep. So, did I break it with this? Did I put a single equals where I should have put a double one? Length is length. I skipped this. That needs to go there. Yep. I mean, that did need to go there, but that didn't fix it. So it creates a new face, it gets the vertex V. V is undefined, or should be. And that'll just be 1, and that's 2. Yep. New face is a thing, which is created from face. I is a thing. New face is a thing. Face is a thing. New face vert. Face vert 0. Face is a thing. New face is a thing. Face vert 1. Face vert 2. Faces push. This is a face. New face is new face. And then for v equals 1, because this would have been the first loop. Length, because length would have been that thing, which doesn't get altered between here and there. And it creates a new face and does this thing. Faces has a length, which face length minus 1 should be this one. Vert would be vert, 0, 0, 2 would be the last one, and then the third one would be the different one, v2. V would be 1, all should be right. All of that only happens if length is greater than 3, because if it was 3, the face is already triangulated and don't worry about it. If it was less than 3, then return false because don't worry about it. Is this happening? Why would it be happening but not worrying about it before? It did run. Then it ran a whole lot of times. Broke. Oh, it says stuff this time. Face rail cam is where it broke. Okay, length of undefined, camera clipping. So between camera clipping and, well, actually right before face rail cam is this triangulate thing, I believe. Face rail cam is in camera clipping. Face rail cam. Okay. It's not directly before that. It's not within face rail cam. It should be in here. Triangulate faces, then do camera clipping it, yeah. So that's where it's at. Apparently this thing is probably undefined, which is a bad thing. Although it would have to have some sort of a length to it. So that was undefined a heap of times without worrying about it. But then it wasn't undefined and it broke. It has the 3 vert. Yeah, it has the verts. Locations are all the same. No? Minuses around different places. Very low though. Whatever. So that seems to be fine. I wonder what the problem is. don't know why it says so many undefines. Why do they say undefines? What were they before the undefines? Undefined. Well, I guess if an undefined thing tried to get triangulated, it wouldn't really do much, would it? So why are undefined things going through? Because that shouldn't be happening. Is there another triangulation going on somewhere? Don't think so. It should just be here and one other place. Or two other places. Two places within the same place for camera clipping? Or is it just one place in here now? Oh, two places. But maybe camera clipping did one. I don't know. This thing shouldn't be saying undefined in the first place. It would be saying undefined because render object. Render object comes from this. This requires a length. The length must mean it's a thing. The thing is somewhere. This gets triangulated regardless of anything. So some sort of an object had to have a distance from it to the camera. So for that to be undefined, there was no object with any distance? Why are they around though? Okay. But nothing started to break until I changed triangulate faces. So what did I do in here that broke it? Base never changes, right? Doesn't seem to. We'll say that. Broken. Whatever, undo. Let's take it one step at a time. So that works. Any people watching in here yet? What's that? Oh. That's weird. It pops out the window within the... What happens if I dragged it off the screen? I guess I'll just like put this up here or something so you can see when somebody joins because a new name should appear. Does it appear next to it? How would a new name appear in this thing? I may never know. I'm guessing it's just going to be vertically. Look at appear next to it or something. If anybody even joins. I wonder who that person was. CPP code up. Yeah, anywho. So let's go through this one at a time. First thing to do is, I guess, the if. If that is greater than 2. So it has to be at least 3 things there. That. Put a thingy there. Probably just forgot one of those things or something. I always forget those things. So that still works. Okay. So now if I say greater than 3 and say else if equal to 3 and then return face. Or did I broke it? I guess because it alters it, and it must have a deep copy, otherwise the altered one is as badly altered. So, doop. And you want end face. No. Still a 364. So how did that break it? Oh, well, that's a problem. But didn't fix it. Okay. If it only has 3 faces, then there should be no difference between this and that. This would have only ran into 0, and then that's that. But these faces should already be these faces. So why can I not separate this thing out and have it act the same? What is the difference? It just runs this and then breaks. Oh. Oh. Because this is an array. There we are. All good. So now I can probably put everything back to how it was. So that goes there. This thing goes in here. That thing goes in there. You don't have that. All that. And that's a 0. Unindent. So if it's greater than 3, this does the first face. This thing would loop through. That's offset by 1. This is no longer needed. That pushes like it does. Return faces, else return face as an array, else just undefined. How much performance did that add? Oh. I think that might have added an extra couple of frames. I mean, this is up to 10 now. So this, I think that just added like maybe 2 frames. Huh. I mean, this thing is actually running multiple times, so this is probably running more times than there are faces that get rendered later on because of how the whole thing works. Awesome. Any more places I think I could optimize this? Other than probably that somehow. But that just stopped like 2 extra ifs running. Those things would only run once per thing. It would either be this one or that one. That would be it for each face that wants to be triangulated. I'm not sure how much math makes a difference. But from what I gather, doing math once, even if it's a simple thing and saving as a variable, is easier than doing math multiple times. Not sound right to me. At all. But let's just go with it. Yeah. So I think that's all good. New face. You just loop through stuff and add things accordingly. I think that might run a few times. Intersection definitely runs a whole heap of times. And that whole part's pretty optimized already. It's like this, nope, that, yes, otherwise this, and then doop-a-doop-a-doop. The edge bounding, well, that's as simple as it pretty much get. It does require 2 distance checks, and I think I actually had a better way of doing this than rather than distance checks. Although, could I do a simple distance check? is less accurate, but maybe it won't matter. I do have a more simple distance check, right? There's like a get distance S, there it is. So that's like dramatically more simple, I believe. I don't see any errors popping up. Wait, was that an error? No, it's just glitchy texture stuff. I think that might have actually made it more slower. I hit 11 then. I should notice glitches with that around the edges of the screen, I believe. Well, everything seems to be good. I mean, nothing's appearing outside of that edge. It's like that clipping edge around the sides of the screen. I have that so I can see if things disappear before they're supposed to or something. Or go outside of it. If things display outside of that, I know I've got some sort of an error. Which I do, I already know there's an error on the outside. Very rarely creating an extra face that gets rendered in an unnoticeable way. As far as I know. But that seems to be fine. Although, did it improve the performance? So that was maybe 11, 8 to maybe 11. No, I feel like this might be less fluctuating. That's going into a 9. It's more stable around 9, 10. I think the other one was an 8, or was it a 9? I don't know, I'm not wearing my glasses. Well, any difference there would be, I believe that is pretty much no difference. Although that function itself could probably be optimized considering how old it is. Yeah, it's doing a double deep copy. It's only affecting ats, I believe. No, it's not even affecting at or to. So it's a double deep copy that's not even being used. That can go away. And then we just got an apps. Well, that should speed it up a little bit. Because that's pretty much just removed 2 different loops. No, that is dropping to an 8, 9. The other one didn't drop to an 8. No, it does drop to an 8, 9. Well, now the other one seems more stable. As you would expect it to be, because it's not doing any fancy circle calculation stuff. Sines and causes and all that junk. It's just dealing with integers. Yeah, I think this might be better now, and I still don't notice any problems. As of yet. No, there doesn't seem to be any glitching going on at all. Huh. Well, that's that. Clicked object. Not sure how that looks. I don't know why I still have it over here. Never moved that across. That's right, I was going to upgrade all my functions, then I decided not to because it was just a big hassle. Oh, that's a point. I wonder what that's like. Everything should be local, or is it? Oh man, I really want to see what that looks like now. Every intersection would have like a bounding box around all of the edges to see. Oh, that would be crazy if I undid that. Definitely places in here that could be optimized, I think. if object location and size, I mean that really doesn't need to be needed. It's always going to have an object size. Otherwise, what's the point of using this thing? I'd have the check before it goes into here rather than within here. Should assume it's passing through the correct variables. And then I separate location and size. Deep copy errors, I guess, could be removed by doing this. No, they wouldn't. They would just be getting reassigned around the place. So that would still have deep copy errors. Offset. Is offset used? I feel like it isn't, because I could quite easily do this outside of this thing rather than inside it, and then I could remove an extra loop. Does that break things? I mean, things that it would break I wouldn't even know. Let's pretend like that isn't needed. Just comment it out. Which I can't do block comments because it thinks it's HTML. So location and size are just separated out like that, for not really much of a reason in particular. Let's not worry about that. Object location, object location, object location, object size. Object size. Return true, else false. False would be undefined, don't require an else. It always feels so responsive at the beginning. I'm like, oh my god, it's improved a lot. Oh, I'm not. Also, still no comments. Oh, 110 faces. What? That's more faces. Is that because of the rounding thing? Or has there always been that many faces just down here? Huh. 155 or something was the one that I usually measured from. 151. I feel like that's a bit more stable. Now it's going back to 11. So this is what it was like before I was screen sharing. So I think I've added like an extra 2-3 frames again. Nice. Okay, anything else I can see around here apart from the whole intersection junk? Which, this is one of the only functions in my entire code that isn't mine. It could be mine, as I always say, I just feel like mine would be way less efficient, and I haven't been bothered to be able to test my way. I'll get around to doing it at some point. I feel like my way probably will end up more efficient, but I don't even know how that way's been done. Maybe it's like the super professional way that has been passed down the coder generations. Bloodline or whatever. So let's just pretend all that's good. Next thing, edge bounding box. So this thing could be 3D and the push thing. I'm not sure if pushing things or assigning things like this are more efficient, but if it was, it would mean I didn't need this extra if. I mean, it would mean I don't need this extra if, so it probably is. No, it wouldn't. I would still need that extra if. So for a 2D or a 3D thing, I'm just pushing in the 3D thing instead of adding it from a default value. So I think that should all be fine. Although I wonder if an if would be better, or assigning things and then just inverting them would be better. I feel like an else would be better. I think that's pretty much as good as I can get it. Edge longest. I could probably use the simple distance for that. Although it's not even being used. I'm not even worried about it. That's used for the normalizing textures, which didn't work, so. Okay. I mean, new face is just new face. Although the extra amount of ifs is a little bit annoying, but they are required, so... Hmm. They just assign default default values to things. Uh, so I guess camera clipping, get back into that thing. Oh god. Probably heap stuff I could do up there, but let's not worry about that. Camera clipping. Camera clipping does run a ton of times, but not that many as anything else, so I doubt I could optimize that anywhere near as everything else has optimized things. But vert edge slide, that's a good one. Actually, no, that would be just as much as the camera clipping. Let's go through the vert edge slide first. So I do a deep copy of edge 0 because of no reason in particular. Oh, because that's what vert is equal to. Okay. This also adjusts its UV coordinates. Yeah, UV and location of things needs to be messed with. Distance is percentage thing, so that would have to be deep copied. It should only have two things within it. Just the location and UV. Because I might not be wanting to adjust the original version of this. Although it would probably be better to do the deep copy before passing it through here. Because, you know... then again, I don't know. So, bounding box thing goes again. Oh. I thought that just mostly happened in the intersection thing. Why does the bounding box go? Oh yeah, for a lot of reasons. So that loops through that. This does the invert thing, which is dependent on the loop. This does the change in distance, which is also dependent on the loop. Changes inverted depending on inverting thing. Although, box size times distance. Distance percentage thing. Box size is the size. I feel like I could do this without using an if. I could do that with math. So if that was a negative, I could say times -1, which would invert it. But then if this was a 0, that would just clear the whole thing. What if I said -1 times that, or 0 times that? What happens? I'll do math. Math. So -1 times 10 is -10. Oh, great. And 0 times 10 is 0. Yeah, that's not a good thing. So how would I get the 0 to be a 1, but a -1 to stay as -1, without using an if? I mean, I could return that as a different number, say like 2, or a 1 if it's one way and a negative the other way. Yeah, if I just said 1s and 0s, -1s and 1s, then I can easily do the math thing. I don't have to do checks, and that should optimize it all, but that's a bit of a weird way of doing it compared to how I've done everything else, but whatever. we're going for optimals here, so I'll just add a note to it. Well, let me do a dash for like a 2 thing, but I guess I'll just do it the other way around. -1 and 1. That still doesn't look right. -1 or 1. Because I'm probably going to forget that at some point. So that means all of the 1s for inverting become negatives. So that is a -1. This all starts out as 1s. And all of the 1s go to -1s. Okay, so then this could simply be box invert whatever times. That is no longer needed. And let's just hope that that wasn't actually used anywhere else. As far as I know, this is the only place it should be used, because it's the whole point of that inverting thing. I know it's used at least a few other places, but don't think with the invert thing. If it was, this will tell me now. Actually, I think it'd still be false. Is -1 false? Who knows? Oh, yep, now I got weird things. Is that because of what I just changed, or is that because of something else? This is all in brackets, that's all good. So where else do I use bounding box? That is not what I had highlighted. Okay. Did invert get used? It does not look like it. Although I do the bounding box. What the world is this thing? Normalized textures, I don't care about that. Intersection A. You do not use inverts. Object bounding box? What? I don't think that was ever used. I did put the inverts the right way around, right? 1s and -1s. Yeah, don't worry about that. And that's the edge slide, which has the inverts. It should only be in that one place. So if it's backwards, it should say so. Which are -1s, which were the 1s, which was the thing that thing did. And that's that. Where did I go wrong with this? Where was the flaw in my logic? -1 times 1, 2, 3 equals -1, 2, 3. 1 brackets for no reason times 1, 2, 3 equals 1, 2, 3. Well, that seems fine. But it's not used anywhere else, or any other code anywhere else. That wasn't like a glitch that's been there for a while now? No, I definitely would have noticed that. So this is sort of the glitch I'd expect to see with the simplifying thing, which I did a while ago. So this really didn't start until here, right? I didn't even change anything back then. No, so it is because of that. Okay, maybe the invert's the wrong way around. Somehow. So, -1, -1, 0, 0, 0. Oh, 1, 1, 1. That breaks it. Damn it, tabbing. Okay, so... is there a problem with change? Well, that's being inverted. What if I plus that? Nope. That just inverts the inverts. I mean, that's what this thing should be. Ah. 1. There's my problem. Hooray! And all is good. All is right with the world. If I tab away, it breaks my FPS thing. I don't even know if it's accurate to begin with. I'm pretty sure it is, but I don't know. I tried messing around with it and it seemed just as laggy, but there could be a chance that it's showing a performance that's less than what it actually is. Did my performance get worse? I mean, I do feel like at times would probably be using more than just a minus. Wait, where did I change the math? Math hasn't been changed yet. So 9, 10. Oh, wrong way. Speed the ball is moving at is irrelevant. I feel like maybe it is. Maybe that helped. Maybe a little bit. Okay. If I is less than 2. Yeah, so that does the UVs within the same loop, but that requires a condition, which would only be one extra condition, because this edge slide thing should always be going on a triangle. No, it's always a 3D. It's always 3, X, Y, Z, or possibly 2. So that should make a difference. That should be fine. Did I get a new viewer? Oh, some guy joined on the live coding thing, I think. Or did somebody just join and leave? What? I don't even know. I could have sworn I saw something happen. What time is it? Almost midnight. Wait, what? If you say so. Suddenly feel very distracted. What am I doing? You know, distractions happen when nobody's watching. Or are they? What does this thing show again? Well, I'm watching me on Twitch. Hey, Crash. Wait, does this thing load? Oh, this thing's been playing me the entire time. That's been using internet. Let's pause that. It's hard to tell if that volume's on or off. Whatever. Let's pause that thing. What's this thing show? It shows bad video settings. I don't know why, but YouTube wants you to have like really high video settings. If that's even up to date. Analytics. No one's been watching, nobody's been messaging. So I guess the YouTube one, I have to advertise that. If I don't advertise that, nobody's going to join. Nobody knows me. Twitch thing, people can find that, so I could have randoms come onto my Twitch. Channel feed? Learn more. Edit what? Panels? What is an edit panels? I don't know what that is. And I guess it's like this thing. What's this going on about? Oh, I guess speeds is like, oh, okay, I get what that is. Anyway. What was the other thing? Oh, yeah, analytics. Where are they at? I'm pretty sure I saw an analytics thing somewhere. Video manager, probably? All these extra videos. Wait, is that the newest one or the oldest one? Recording, okay. Delete. Delete. No one says recording, so yep. Delete. And I don't know where the YouTube ones are stored, so I can't delete those ones, if there even are any. Analytics, that's what I was doing. You know, I could probably see something here. Video stats. Well, apparently I've had no views, but maybe this thing doesn't display stuff until afterwards. Can we get a little hungry now? I'm a little bit tired because I don't care when nobody's watching as much. What was I doing? I'm just getting around for things. Well, anyway, I think this is enough as a test of this thing. I really should build a multi-whatever chat system as soon as possible for this thing. So, I can see chats through all my stuff, and I really should get into all of that stuff. So, I might do that tomorrow, rather than, oh, I've got a trophy. Rather than make this thing more. What was that for? Oh, because this thing's collecting massive amounts of stuff. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, I remember now. Hey, trophy. Random game got on the other screen. I just got a trophy, which gave me absolutely nothing. Oh, I thought I was going to get something for that. Yeah, anyway, so I can do all this optimizing stuff offline. I don't really need to be online for it. Unless people find this interesting in some sort of a way of how to optimize code in a more advanced thing, I can only imagine using basic stuff, which I don't actually know what advanced stuff is because I've never really tested. It's just using just logic of what I think would be best. I don't know, let's go through the rest of this. So, there's a deep copy is needed, bounding box is already optimized, bounding box length to go through the stuff with UV, the UV breaks out. Okay, that seems pretty optimized. Next one's pretty much just the big one of the camera clipping. which I have already been through millions and millions of times. But yeah, as I said, I'm probably going to do that offline. And when I come back, I am either going to be adding in the multi CPU 100% core support junk, from what I understand from people talking in forums, or I will be making a chat system, which actually seems pretty fun. I've been wanting to do that for a long time. My idea for a chat system, though, is way more than just a chat system. It would be a whole analytical thing for the users, not just how many people are viewing and where it's most popular, but who's actually viewing, who are repeating names that show up in my lists and stuff like that. So I can see who my most popular viewer is, how long an average viewer views for, which is a normal thing, but how long which average viewer views for or whatever. And I could like schedule things better for actual individual people's cycles, because that's a thing I could do, although I probably wouldn't. So like if my most popular streamer seems to always be on a certain time, like a certain time window, then I could try to stream better in there, just for that one person in particular, because he will be or they will be a special snowflake on my chart, which will probably be like a pie chart, or maybe a bar graph. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have fancy stuff like that. Viewers can check them out as well if they wanted to, and yeah, it'll also be combining all the chat systems. But anyway, I am hungry. I think I'm gonna go. So, thanks for watching those two people, maybe. Yep. I think I will go now. Oh yes, that's right. Oh my god, I got to think of a new goodbye thing to say. I need to send links. I really need to set up a whole lot of stuff. So, feel free to donate. If anybody wants to donate, there should be maybe, hopefully, a donate button somewhere. Otherwise, just ask me, and I'll be more than happy to provide you with a donate button. $13 feeds me for a day, if anybody's wondering, and be a follower or a subscriber or a... I don't even know what Twitch uses. What do you have on Twitch? Followers. Okay. Yeah, be a follower or a subscriber or whatever for the respective sites. Thank you for watching.